Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Diontae Johnson opens up on reported incident with teammate. The Pittsburgh Steelers seem to be in a good situation right now, with the team sporting a 7-4 record and a second-place standing in the AFC North Division behind the division-leading Baltimore Ravens. Even though the Steelers could very well be a playoff-bound team in the AFC this season, the 2023 campaign has been anything but easy for the storied franchise, especially on the offensive side of the football. The Steelers have been struggling so much on the offensive side of the football this season that the team chose to fire offensive coordinator Matt Canada ahead of the Week 12 showdown with the Cincinnati Bengals, which was a telling move, to say the least. Along with dealing with the Canada situation, wide receiver Diontae Johnson got into it with Minkah Fitzpatrick after the loss to the Cleveland Browns last week, which he was asked about on Sunday via Brooke Pryor of ESPN. "It ain't nothing. Y'all outside from looking in, that's my brother at the end of the day, we passionate about the game. Everybody wants to win," Johnson said. As if matters weren't bad enough for Johnson as a result of the altercation with Fitzpatrick, the wide receiver seemed disinterested in picking up a fumble right in front of him during Sunday's game against the Bengals, which he claims that he didn't see, making that much more baffling. Fortunately, the Steelers still appear to be heading in the right direction, even though they've got an ongoing situation with Johnson and are dealing with the aftermath of Canada being fired. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Johnson moving forward and whether the team decides to discipline him in any way. Steelers Kenny Pickett discusses experience working with new play caller in Week 12. After Week 12's win over the Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers second-year quarterback Kenny Pickett discussed his experience working with a new play caller for the first time in his NFL career. Just last week, the Steelers fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada, announcing running backs coach Eddie Faulkner as the interim offensive coordinator. While Faulkner is set to handle most of the day-to-day responsibilities of the role, quarterbacks coach Mike Sullivan was responsible for calling plays. Pickett commented on his experience with a new play caller following the Week 12. "It's definitely different with a new play caller. You kind of get used to the flow of how he likes to call things, and that's something that we're going to continue to iron out. We felt like every drive we were having productive drives, moving the ball really well. Some penalty things and a turnover that we wish you want to take that out. That would help us put more points up. But overall, I'm happy with how those guys played." When asked how Sullivan was different handling the new responsibilities, Pickett spoke glowingly of his demeanor. "He's steady. He's always been steady. He preaches that as quarterbacks, you have to be steady. It's such an up-and-down game and up-and-down league. A lot goes on during the week. But he was steady as always. So, it was great to have him calling the plays and always by my side, but now in a different kind of aspect." Though the Steelers still have a long way to go in order to prove themselves on offense, having scored just 16 total points on the day, the productivity of the offense in terms of yardage cannot be understated. In their Week 12 win, the Steelers managed 421 net yards on offense, breaking a 58-game streak in the regular season of 400 or fewer yards dating back to Week 2 of the 2020 season. It was a complete team effort, as Pickett finished the day with 278 passing yards, the second most he's had in a single game through his 23 career starts. The Steelers will look to keep their momentum rolling into Week 13 with a matchup against the 2-10 Arizona Cardinals, who just allowed the LA Rams 457 yards and 37 points in their Week 12 loss. Kenny Pickett helped orchestrate a rare good offensive outing for the Pittsburgh Steelers on Sunday afternoon. For the first time in more than 3 years, the Steelers racked up more than 400 yards of offense at Paycor Stadium on Sunday in Pittsburgh's 16-10 win over the Cincinnati Bengals. The last time the Steelers' offense surpassed the 400-yard mark was in Week 2 of the 2020 season, 58 games ago, when Ben Roethlisberger was still leading the team. Since 2021, according to the Ringer's Shile Kapadia, there have been 333 games in which an offense had at least 400 yards in a game across the league. The Steelers accounted for none of them until Sunday. The Steelers' win came the same week the team fired offensive coordinator Matt Canada. Before Sunday's game, the Steelers were in the bottom 5 in the league in total yards per game, 280.1, and points per game, 16.6, and they were second worst in passing yards with just 170 per contest. Pickett had struggled, too. The second-year quarterback entered Sunday with 1,772 yards with 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He averaged 3.8 yards per completion last week, which was a season low, and he held a 35.7 QBR. Things weren't great. But Sunday was a different story. Though he didn't throw a touchdown, he went 24 of 33 for 278 yards in the win while averaging 8.4 yards per completion. He hit tight end Pat Freiermuth 9 times for 120 receiving yards, and Diontae Johnson and George Pickens each had at least 50 receiving yards. As a team, the Steelers had 421 yards, which is nearly double what the Bengals put up. The Steelers' lone touchdown came in the third quarter on a 5-yard run from Najee Harris, who had 99 yards on 15 carries. The touchdown capped a 14-play, 79-yard drive and put the Steelers up 10-7 at halftime. Shaq Leonard could bolster already elite Steelers defense. The Indianapolis Colts announced the team would waive All-Pro linebacker Shaq Leonard amid concerns about his role within the defense. Following his being cut, teams immediately began having reported interest in acquiring the star linebacker. The Cowboys, Eagles, and Steelers appear to be the betting favorites to land Leonard, with Dallas head coach Mike McCarthy stating the team definitely had interest in acquiring the former Colt. As for the Steelers, the team should jump at the opportunity to land Leonard. Pittsburgh lost Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander to season-ending injuries and is running thin at linebacker. The team announced the signing of veteran linebacker Blake Martinez to help fill the void, but one has to imagine the team could use the services of a top linebacker. Shaq Leonard fits the Shazier mold the Steelers have been searching for since the unfortunate career-ending injury to the linebacker. Leonard is an athletic linebacker who excels at fighting off blocks for tackles and forcing turnovers. This season, Leonard saw his role reduced in the Colts defense and has notched 65 tackles in 9 games. Injuries have played a part in his dwindling role, but Shaq Leonard has shown elite ability numerous times in limited action this season. The 3-time All-Pro may not be at the height of his powers, but the Maniac still has plenty left in the tank. Shaq Leonard will have his pick at a number of contending teams and has already lined up a visit with the Dallas Cowboys. Leonard will likely meet with several teams to ensure a good fit, and Pittsburgh will definitely be one of many teams calling to meet with the linebacker. Could the Steelers add another elite playmaker to their already outstanding defense? Surely fans would welcome Leonard with open arms as Pittsburgh sits firmly in the playoff hunt at 7-4. Linebacker Shaquille Leonard, the 3-time first-team All-Pro selection, surprisingly released by the Colts last week, received a loud ovation at Sunday's game at Lucas Oil Stadium as he looked on from a suite and the team expressed gratitude on the stadium's video screens. It was a rare scene in which a player who was abruptly let go because of declining skills following his injury rehab made a public appearance to support that same team at its next game. The video screen flashed a message saying thank you to Leonard as in-house cameras panned to Leonard and his family, who were watching the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from a suite. Leonard had been struggling to recapture his old form after 2 back surgeries in 2022 to address nerve issues that were causing lower body pain. As a result, his playing time had been inconsistent, and the team informed him Monday that he would be benched and inactive the rest of the season. But 24 hours later, things shifted when the team decided that asking a player of Leonard's stature to practice on the scout team and watch games from the sideline in street clothes might be unfair. Leonard was subsequently told Tuesday that he was being waived. But Leonard also stressed what the team and the community meant to him, something that was evidenced by his decision to go through with a planned turkey giveaway Tuesday afternoon, when Leonard's foundation gave away 200 turkeys and sides for Thanksgiving dinners. And you fan, what do you think of the Shaq Leonard situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.